Hello. This is my favorite go-to movement sequence when I have neck pain, when I suffer neck pain after I hunched over my notebook for too long, or I worked with clients for too long, and I wake up the next day and my neck is hurting. I cannot turn my head anymore. Do you know this kind of feeling when it really hurts? I find this movement sequence more efficient, or the most efficient, but more efficient than conventional trigger point pressing or simple stretching or strengthening exercises, which you might already know. I find to get relief within minutes. So, what you need is like a couch, or even better, still in your bed in the morning or before you fall asleep. In the evening, when you feel the neck pain upcoming, you probably have to do it on both sides, but start with the side you're more comfortable with. To start, please come to lie onto your left side, and you can use a pillow to support your head. Or if possible, don't use a pillow and do not support your head, but rest your head on your couch or on your bed, if that's possible, or whatever feels better for you. So now in the beginning, we need to define the directions first. So you're lying on your left side, I'm lying on my left side, so to my left is the couch. To my left is not down, but to my left, to your left is the couch or the bed. And to the right is the ceiling. So where is down? So if the couch is left, where is down? So down is towards the feet. That's the direction of down. And the opposite of down is up. Your up is not where the ceiling is, your up is where your head is. Because you're lying on the side. So up is where your head is, down is where your feet are, and left is where the couch is, and right is where the ceiling is, and behind is where the back is, and in front is where the nose is pointing. So that's our directions for this lesson. And secondly, we need to define some landmarks in the body. So one is the head, which is clear. Head is easy. Then right shoulder, that's easy. And then right hip, this is a little bit more complicated. So let's define some landmarks on the pelvis. Use your hand to feel the right side of your leg, of your upper leg, and you will find, if you palpate, that's the technical term, you could say if you poke, you will find the hard, bony part on top. That's really bony, because there's a bone, that's the upper leg bone, the femur, and it has a landmark here on the side, which is called the greater trochanter. So that's something we can feel underneath the IT band, which is often very tight. So that's one landmark for this lesson. And the other one, if you reach around a little bit further, you will find another bony part, which is your sit bone. That's the lowest part of your pelvis, the bone you're sitting on when you're sitting. That's why in German language you call it sit bone. And you have two of them, of course, one right sit bone and one left sit bone. So that's the landmarks we need for this lesson. And then please focus on your side lying. So you're neither rolled forwards or backwards, and you're not twisted in any way, but you're really inside lying. So that's our starting position. And now for the movement itself. First, bring your attention to your right sit bone. And imagine the right sit bone being pushed upwards towards your right shoulder, which means your right side shortens, which means your left side, the one you're lying on, is lengthening, which is really a tilt of the pelvis. But the movement is very small, tiny. Maybe from an outside perspective, somebody else would not even see that you're moving. It's just a feeling, a tiny feeling of shortening the right side, of pulling your right hip or your right sit bone closer towards your right shoulder. So that's the first ingredient of this movement. The second ingredient, think of your left sit bone. And the left sit bone, push it downwards. So you push your left sit bone away from your left shoulder, which is a tilting of the pelvis sideways. That's the second. And the third ingredient is, think of pushing your left side more into the couch. And this in turn will push up your head. And this will make you help, or this will actually start lifting your head up. As a result of pulling your right sit bone closer to your right shoulder, of pushing your left sit bone further away from your left shoulder, of pressing your spine in a curved pathway into the couch, and this will push your head upwards and lift it, make it easier for you to lift the head. So start to lift the head a little bit. So that's the magic for the neck. It's like this kind of tensioning, this kind of pattern that we introduce into like the whole torso, the whole spine. And relax again. If this is not possible yet for your neck, you could reach around with your right hand and get hold of your left temple, and then 1, 2, 3. Push up with your right sit bone, push down with your left sit bone, press your left side into the couch, which will help to lift your head, and you can help with your right hand to lift your head. And back down again. Until it's possible for you to do this movement sequence, this combination of moves to lift your head, and just keep your head up for, I keep my head up for 10 seconds, for half a minute. Or you could just float your head a little bit. Oh, you don't lift your head as high as you can, but just a little bit, and then back down again. And this little movement, I find it the most effective when it's done really, really, really small. So that somebody would not even see you moving. So you push up your right sit bone and push down your left sit bone. You push your spine into the couch, which you should be able to feel that. Pushes up your head and just forces, involves, or invites your head into this side bending. And because it's a side bending, your head is lifting. And right now my head is already lifted. So my head is floating above the pillow. And you can't really see much of this because it's so small. The movement is so small, but it's a tonus change. And let go again. And this is the relaxing part, when the tension is removed. It's just a little, and that's that's what feels so nice. This little push. So right now my pelvis is tilted. There's like tension throughout my whole upper body, and this tension pushes my head upwards, and then the head is floating. And you see, don't be afraid of making small movements. Like, have the courage to just move in a tiny range, and when you are able to do that, you will be able to feel the benefit of that. So it's my whole torso, actually, even down to my feet, my whole legs, everything, my whole body is moving and introducing a certain kind of tension to lift the head. And I could turn the head because my head is lifted just a little bit, or look a little bit upwards, bring the back of my head backwards and my sit bones backwards, which is an arch of my whole back. Or I could flex, so my nose forward and my pubic bone forward and my back backwards is a flexion or an extension or a little bit of a twist, and then rest again. And if I do too much, it's actually not worth much. So the less I do, play with that. Don't be afraid to do just a little bit, especially if you wake up in the middle of the night with neck pain, and then you don't want to do that much anyways. You just introduce this whole movement in your body, so you lift your head a little bit, keep it up for a couple of seconds, and then just rest it down again and see where you relax. The most beautiful goose has the longest neck. So think of your neck is long. Use your pelvis to push your neck long, to make your spine long, to bring out your neck like a turtle, your neck from your shoulder girdle, to lengthen your neck upwards while you lift. Play with these movements, and I hope they are as beneficial to you as they are for me.